Putting into my time, LJ. It's no big deal. I said it's no big deal. So I'll get you up to speed on some stuff on my desk later. Um, there's one particular PO that Jabil keeps asking every day to expedite, and production has told me multiple times they're too complex. We cannot rush these. So they're asking again this morning. I'm telling them again, nothing has changed. So please expect that next week. They're going to ask every day. They're going to say, this is so critical. We need this right away. Understand, but we're doing all we can. I've already asked multiple times, including yesterday, and Constance and Peyton both said no. So just expect that. And don't stress yourself out trying to get it. Okay.
All right. I'll I'll check with Sheila again. She was checking on those earlier, so I'll check to see if they've gotten delivered. Yeah, right. Okay. All right. So let me go ahead. Yeah, well, I think we're good. So we're gonna go ahead and get on our meeting with Jennifer so she can show them her. Thanks, Betty. Let's just jump over there real quick. She's already got it. But sure.
Hello.
Hello.
Jan- There he is. All
Okay.
right then.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Let me just finish this email.
Okay.
Jennifer's one of our newest CSRs. So she's been here for almost a year, maybe more than that.
Year and
Almost
a
two
half.
years. Yeah,
Hmm.
so yeah, because she started in December.
2023.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. I was like,
Okay.
so yeah, she's one of our newest ones. Uh,
That's not new. That's a long time already.
Yeah,
yes, but
already.
I mean, even though it's almost 2 years, um, it's just one of those where everything's still brand new to you every time you come up with something. So it's to me, even though I've been here almost 6 years, I feel like I've been here forever. But
Okay.
but again, you learn new things every day, and so that's why even though Jennifer's only been here a year and a half, I still consider her new. So
Okay. I get it.
oh, you're on mute.
Don't know how that happened. I was saying that there's still things that come up. There's things that came up in the last couple of weeks that it's the first time I've ever had to deal with it. So
Okay.
there's always something new happening. Um, okay, let me share screen. Okay, do y'all see my screen?
Yeah, I see
Okay.
it.
Okay. So I tried not to do too much in my inbox this morning because I wanted y'all to see kind of what it looks like when you first come in. Because there's a lot. Usually I come into somewhere between 30 and 50 new emails, sometimes more if
Okay.
it's a busy day. But usually what I do is start by kind of cleaning out just some of the FYI stuff that I get, like these
Mhm.
extra stock reports. And
Okay.
I have a folder for that stuff. It's just still an alert that, we do have extra stock, but Camelia checks the stuff when she enters the order. So the order was for more than what we have in stock. So it's just an
Okay.
FYI. So I just usually look at it and then file those away. Um, this special projects report, that's Rosvan's list of special projects. I check that once or twice a week. I don't check it every day.
Mhm.
Um, and then you'll get these, your estimate follow-up reports. I usually do print these every day. Um,
Mhm.
and this is just a list of your open and pending estimates. Um,
Okay.
so
So these are from the quotes that you sent to estimate, and
correct.
that estimate is now telling you that something else is needed from you.
No, these are just your open and pending estimates. So like these are here, the status column here, the
Okay.
P means they're still pending, which means it's still with estimating. They're still working on it. It hasn't
Okay.
been sent to the customer yet.
Got it.
These that are A, they're active, so they've been sent. And this stuff that you see in red, those are my follow-up notes. So every time I have followed up with the customer, I've made a note saying I've followed up. Um, so the first one is just saying I sent it to the customer. That's right after estimate sends it out. I find my quote chain, my email chain with the customer, and I send the quote to them on that chain as well.
Okay.
And then I make a note saying sent to customer, and then, FULP, that means follow up with customer. So every
Okay.
time you follow up, make a note.
Right.
And
And
if
this
you
is
get it
just to try to get the customer to give the final go.
to place the order, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, once the quote goes out, you want to you want to send it to them, you want to give them a chance to look at it, and then you want to follow up and ask, hey, what's the status of this? Do you plan on placing an order?
Mhm.
Or if they say, we're still working on it, or we're waiting on our end customer. Let me see if I can find one of those. Like this one right here. I followed up on the 31st of
Mhm.
July. And then he told me that he's still waiting on his engineering team to get back to him. So
Okay.
I put that note in there. I followed up. This is his response. And that way I know just at a quick glance from looking at this report what's going on with my quotes and where kind of they all stand. Um,
Mhm.
uh, so like this one, I put a note saying we delivered some samples, and they are waiting on their key stakeholders to come the third week of August to take a look and review. So I know nothing's going to happen with that one for another couple of weeks. So I don't have to worry about that one right now. I'll follow up middle of the third week of August just to see where it stands. Um, so yeah, that's that report. I'm not going to print it right now. But you get one for MSI and one for MSD. The MSD is usually a lot less than the MSI, but it's the same thing. A means active, P means pending, and then you got your notes and everything. Um, and I have folders for all of those as well. Every night around 10:20, 10:30, all the shipping notifications go out for orders that were shipped that day, and you get CC'd on them. It's got the tracking, it's got the packing slip, that's got the CFC paperwork. So it's everything that they need. It's got the compliance report. So you get a copy of that. Usually don't do anything with those unless for some reason the customer contacts me and says, hey, did this ship? And then I just find this and send it to them. But I've got a folder where those all go. And then you'll get this report, the daily recap. I don't know if LJ showed you that one yet. She's shaking her head no. So there's a spot where if you do reach out to customers um, or have a meeting or something, you log the call. And this is just like a report with everybody's logged calls for that day. So it's just a summary of what happened. I only read through it if it pertains to my customer. I don't read everybody's. And then this report is for if you have quotes and estimating has determined that they need to research material. Um, there'll be the information down here telling you the estimate number of the customer and all the information so that you can let the customer know that, hey, this quote is probably going to take a little longer because our team has to do some research on the material. This report, there's nothing there, so there's nothing pending that needs material research. I don't usually keep these reports unless there's something there, so I'm just going to delete that one. And then when Cami enters orders, she sends the order acknowledgement and they look like this. I have a folder for her that I have pinned in my favorites where I drag and drop all of those. I do this a little differently than everybody else. I keep my own spreadsheet of my open orders and my estimates, how I keep track of everything, how I stay organized in lieu of printing everything. So when I first get a PO, I just log that Cami's going to enter it, the quantity, the customer, the part number, and the PO number. And then usually towards the end of the day, when it's a little bit slower, I'll go into this folder and I'll pull up all the jobs in E&T, and then I'll fill in the rest of the information. And then from there, I put it down here into one of these, like either standard production orders, and I file it by due date. So today, I'll be checking on all these jobs to make sure that they ship today. And then I'll start checking some of these as well, because these are all due early next week. So I'll want to make sure those are on track. That's how I keep track of things. I'm the only one that does it like this here, but this is how it works for me. So anyway, I drag all of Cami's orders into there. So now I've cleaned that up. Now I can start working on all these other ones that need attention. So this here is from Taprite, one of my customers. They've sent a PO. And okay. That cannot possibly be right.
Sorry, if you don't mind, would you possibly share later or explain in further detail the organization method that you follow?
Okay, sure. So
The
you want
one
to look
that
at
you
my
just showed
spreadsheet?
us. Yeah,
Okay.
it seems really useful.
I find it useful, but I worked off of a spreadsheet at my last two jobs. So this is just how I'm used to working. Um, so this tab is my estimates tab. Anytime I enter an estimate, I just insert a new line and I put the customer, the part number, what type of quote it's going to be. Is it a new job? Is it a rerun with change, etc.? I have a button here for if it's hot, I check that. And then I put the status, it's always pending. And if there's a PO associated, I put that here. And then, of course, the date I entered, the quote, and the estimate number. And I have this column here just in case anybody other than me enters a quote, like when I'm on vacation or something, I can put their name there. But then I have all of my estimate numbers and all the information right here. And like I know we looked at all these Inventus ones this morning, so I know that Estimate is working on those. And this just helps me easily see when did I enter this. It's still on here because I delete them once the quote goes out. So, it's been 3 days for this Delta quote. I probably need to check on that and see where it stands.
Yes,
And
sorry, if you can share a copy of that, that will be very helpful for us. We can just modify it to our needs.
yeah, I can share this with you. Let me make myself a note.
Excellent, thank you.
Okay, got a note. And then the open order. This is where all my open orders go. So I've got headers here. I've got new orders. I've got back order. So back order means it's probably an order that is either it's got sales releases or finished goods contracts. And that it was a larger order than what the customer needed. So we added extra stock to the order and we don't need them right now. So Constance puts them into back order status. I want to make sure that they don't ever get forgotten about. So I have a section for those so I can keep track of them. I have one to orders to watch and expedite request. I've got my color legend up here. So the purple is the expedite request. And then the pink is just the ones that I want to make sure they're important or they're new or whatever, and I want to keep them up here separate from the standard production orders so I can keep a closer eye on them. I have a header for new customers. So if it's a new customer and I need their credit app or any kind of information like that before we would be able to ship, I put their order here. I've got one for art proofs so I can make sure I keep an eye on those. And I've got these boxes here that are specifically for the art proofs. So like you can see, these I entered this morning. I checked that we'll need an art proof. Once the art proof gets sent, I'll check those boxes. And if it's approved, then I'll check those. And that way I know it's moving along, everything's good. I don't have to worry about them. And then I have one for expedite request. So if it's an expedite request, I would check that box. And then I've just got my standard production orders, and I have it separated by month and then by week. So this is what's left for this week, the 11th through 15th. That is everything that is going to be due next week. So I want to keep an eye on those and make sure that they're moving, they're getting done, they're ready to ship. Green means that they're ready to ship. They're either released to released to shipping or released to finished goods, which means they are done, they're on the shelf, they're good to go. We're just waiting for them to actually ship. And then I'll show you, let me pull this over here. I check it just by copying, pasting. It says it's still in process. I'm going to check accumulated production. We're still at output film today. So that's due on Tuesday. So I'm going to keep an eye on that one and make sure that it actually gets ready on time. But that's how I keep track of everything. Any questions, or does that make sense?
Yes, thank you. It does seem super useful.
Okay.
I think that it is a pretty good method, and I would like to follow it as well.
Okay, yeah. And I like, let's see, this expedite column is actually new. I added that this week because I wanted to be able to easily see which orders had requested an expedite. So feel free to take away any columns. I do have this one here. If we ship a partial, I click that box and I put the quantity of the partial that we ship there, so that I know a partial shipped. And then once it ships, I just delete it off. I just highlight the whole line, hit delete, and we're good to go. I don't need it anymore because it shipped. So, and I've got this all the way through July of next year. And as you can see, I've already got some orders. Their sales releases are extra stock, but they're already scheduled for February, March, and April of next year. But I don't want to forget about them, so they're on here. Okay, so back to this PO. That price cannot possibly be correct for these parts. So I am going to grab that part number. I'm going to come over here to estimates. Let's see. This is the most recent quote. The KR, so that means this quote is still good. I'm going to check the pricing. They ordered 171. All right, so the smallest amount we have quoted is 1,000. So we're going to have to send this to estimating. Now I'm going to check to see what's the latest job. Okay, so this is later than this. So I'm going to convert from the latest job to an estimate. Yes, we want to create a revision. No, we don't want to view production comments. And then we hit proceed. If you get a pop-up like this, make sure you read it. Just to see if there's anything special there. Yeah, we're good. Sometimes there'll be notes that might be relevant. So we don't need this and we don't need this. We actually don't need that. All right, so I'm gonna grab the PO number. Put that there. This is gonna be a rerun. Actually, no, they've got a different rev listed on here, so I actually need to ask them to check the rev first. Make sure you check the rev. Sometimes I forget about that at first, but always check the rev. And I should check the other one real quick while they were on the same quote chain. So, okay. I'm going to reply to my buyer. Say, hi, Jason. Thank you for the PO that you have. Rev B01 on the PO that last time we produced. Rev B. Please confirm revision for me. All right. I'm going to ask him to check the rev and get back to me. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and save this. And stuff like this, I do usually print so that this is one of the only times I print anything so that I don't lose track of it. And I will make myself a note on the printout that I need them to confirm the rev. Print. All right. And then I'm just gonna file that. So this one I had asked Angel to get me a couple pieces of sample material. He's actually already delivered it to my desk. So that I'm gonna file into Delta. So that was for Delta Electronics. Okay. So this PO, I had asked my customer to revise the price, and he has revised the price. Find the PO that I had printed, and we're good. So I'm gonna sign this one. Thank you, LJ. All right, so what's it doing? Okay. And this is a PO.
Well, we're not.
Let me see. Can I? There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna insert a new line. gonna go to Cami. It's for 20,000 pieces. Bill 2. And then I put the PO number 383838. All right. Done with that. And I'm just going to forward it to Camellia. I'm going to say signed, saved. And I'm going to put the signed copy on here. Shoot that off to her. She'll take care of entering that. I'm just going to respond to my buyer. And I have a bunch of templates that I've created. It makes it faster for me to respond. So I'm just going to say, good morning, Luis, to customize it. And it just says, thank you. We've received your order. It'll be entered shortly. You'll receive an acknowledgement that includes the estimated ship date. If you have any questions, reach out. And that way I don't have to type it every single time. And then I'm just going to file it into their folder. Okay, this was another one that they needed to update. Just make sure. Yes, that's the correct price. This one is a serialized label. So I'm going to make sure I put the serial number on the PO down here. I'm going to put serial number, and I'd already looked this up off of their last order and written it on the PO that I printed. So I'm just going off of that. 2666059. And then you want to make sure you sign and date any additional notes you add. So I'm going to just put a signature right there, just so they know when I added that. Because production looks at that and they double check and make sure that everything matches. So they want to know when that note was added. And save it. Again, I'm going to put it on my spreadsheet. Camellia. 12,000. 03593. And then the PO. Okay. All right. We're done with that. I'm going to do the same thing. Send it off to Camellia. Oops. And then respond to the buyer. Any questions about that? Okay, I'll take the
I
silence
don't
as
have questions.
okay.
Just to check, so for you, the way that you follow up on your orders is mostly via the spreadsheet instead of with any color coding on the email, correct?
Right. I use my spreadsheet, and then if I still need to do something with it, I leave it in my inbox.
And flagged.
And I just flag it. I just hit the flag button. I tried Johnny's method. I liked Johnny's method of using the categories, but it was a little too much for me.
Yeah, I think I also find it a little bit overwhelming, and with the
Yeah,
spreadsheet, it seems more
when
straightforward, in my
when
opinion.
I started, I tried everybody's method. I tried LJ and Sheila's print everything method. That was too much paper for me. I had trouble finding what I needed. But it works for
Mhm.
them. So,
Yeah.
we all have different methods. Like I said, I came from the last two jobs I've had, I've used a spreadsheet. So that was kind of
Mhm.
what I was used to. And so I tried everybody's methods. And then I was like, you know what? None of this, I don't feel in control of any of it. So I thought,
Mhm.
I'm just going to try a spreadsheet. It's what I'm used to. Let me just try it. And it works for me. So it's what I use. Um, so this is all still here because I did try it, but I couldn't keep track of changing all the different colors all the time, and I forgot
Mhm.
what color meant what. And so it didn't work for me. Um, so yes, I everything goes onto the spreadsheet, and then if I still need to do something, like this one, I flagged it because they're asking to pull a couple of their orders in,
Mhm.
and it needs to be asked about in the 8:30 on Monday, and I won't
Oh, yeah.
be here Monday. So I went ahead and flagged it in my email and I left it here just so whoever's watching my desk it can find it easily. It's right there. Um, and then like all these other ones, this one I was going to show y'all in a few minutes, but it's a new customer and Nico is going to be making the introductions with I think it's Austin. Yeah, this one's Austin and me. So he'll be making introductions with the customer on
Mhm.
Monday. The customer asked him to reach out on Monday. So I want to make sure we don't miss it. We don't forget about this new customer. So I'm going to leave it here in my inbox flagged. Once I'm done with it, I usually just unflag it and file it. But
Mhm.
if it's
I have a
here,
question.
uh
Sorry to interrupt. Who is Nico Reimer? I see he joins the meetings, but I don't think he has presented himself, or at least I don't remember.
Nico's our marketing guy. He takes some phone calls that like incoming phone calls, and he also sometimes goes out to trade shows just to meet with customers. He does a lot of our like our video uh marketing. Like he was working on one with Adam yesterday for one of our customers, Sensodyne. Um, he he'll join some meetings, but he's not like he'll get new information from customers or he'll get phone calls from customers and he'll just say, hey, this is a new customer. And then it gets assigned to a CS and or uh, sometimes a salesperson up front. Sometimes they want to see where it goes before they assign a salesperson. So they'll start with just a CS and make it a house account. But Nico's there in the beginning and then it gets passed off to us to handle the customer from there. So he doesn't usually join like calls with the customers for projects later on. He's just in this initial. Um, so he met these guys at a trade show, and so he'll be making the introductions to the sales team and the CS team because the customers already had contact with him. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yes, I'm asking because sometimes we're in a meeting with like you, and he
Mm.
comes in, and I didn't know who he was, but thank you for explaining.
Yeah, he's our marketing guy. He's really nice. If you ever get a chance to meet him, you'll like him. Um, okay, so moving on. This is a new PO. So I'm going to open it and I got to make sure my pricing is right. So I'm going to get the part number, search and estimates. I'm going to go ahead and search in jobs too. Okay, so they've got that price. Oops, where'd it go? Okay, so it's 1,000 pieces, and that is the correct price. So that's good. Move that over. Now, sorry, I'm losing track of all my screens. I usually work off of two, but I'm trying to make sure y'all can see everything I'm doing. So I'm doing a lot of dragging and dropping. Uh, okay, this is not a serial number label, so I don't have to worry about that. I'm just going to sign it and save it. And this customer has multiple locations, so I usually put an abbreviation. So this one's Jabil Mexico, so I just put an MX there, just so I remember that it's Jabil Mexico at a glance. And let me drag this over here. I don't know if they mention it, but you can insert files from this insert tab and right here, attach files. Usually the last thing you save will be right up here at the top. So it makes it easy to toss it in there and move on. Whoops, I'm not forwarding.
Nice tip. Thank you.
You're welcome. And there we go. Put that back over there. Okay, let's see. Okay, so this customer sent a PO. I asked her to add the die charge and the setup, and she came back with questions. I'm gonna have to talk to estimating about these, so I'm gonna leave that there and move on. Okay, so this is another report that you'll get. If anybody changes a due date on a job, including you, you'll get a notification. Um, this is one that I was entering this morning, so I know that one's fine. If anybody other than me changes a due date on a job, I check it out just to make sure to see what's going on. A lot of times it's consonants just changing like the production job to match the sales release due date. I don't worry about those. That's fine. The only time I really worry about it and dig into it a little bit more is if it's a production job that has to ship to the customer and for some reason they're pushing it out. Then I want to know why they're pushing it out and then go from there. So I always take a moment to check those out. Let's see here. All right, so this customer at USON had asked for all of the paperwork related to tariffs on a couple of their jobs. I got that yesterday, sent it to her. This is just her saying she'll forward it for approval. And then it looks like she's responded again and said she added the tariffs to the POs. So now I need to save these and put them on the related job. First, I'm going to look up this PO number, find the job. Okay. All right, so this is for these last two releases. Um, so they didn't actually add a line item. They've just been putting it in this process core charges. I actually want to look at last revised PO she gave me because I was putting notes on these. Where did it go? There it is. Okay. This is going to be a little bit complicated. I need to recreate all these notes on this new PO, so I'm actually just going to come back to this later. I don't want to waste our time doing that right now. So let's just move on. Okay, so this customer is asking to get a quote. This may be one we've already quoted for them, so I'm going to look it up really fast and see. Oops, there it is. Let's see if we have an existing quote. 51473. Okay, so this is already included on the quote she asked me to do yesterday. I'm just going to tell her that. Wait, hold on. Let me just double check something. Hold on. I need to search it without the other dashes. Okay, so we also need to quote -1. So I know we've never produced this part, so I'm just going to revise the last quote. So the new part thing. This is an MSD part. Customer's account is MSD. So we want to make sure the plant ID is MSD as well. And then the quantity is already in there. I'm going to add this to my quotes. So that's quote number 216427-1. And I'm just going to forward the estimating. Always put a Q, semicolon, and then parentheses, and put the quote number in the parentheses. So I've got this template for sending stuff to estimating, where I just type in some basic information for them. Rev C, and this is the -1. And Usually forget what quantities. Look. Okay. 50, 100, 500, 1,000, 5,000. And if there were any special notes, I would put them there, but I don't have any, so I'm just going to take that off. And then we just send that off to estimating. Now it's in their ballpark. So now I'm just going to wait until they get the pricing and they send it out. Once they send it out, I'll come back to this email thread and I'll respond to my customer and say, here's your quotes. But I'm going to go ahead and respond now and just tell her that we have received your quote request. We're working on it. Okay. And UPG. Okay, so Precise Connections is asking if we can ship something today. First, I'm going to look up the part number. And they tend to place a lot of items on one PO with a lot of releases. So I've got to figure out this release, I think. One, two, three, four, five. They're asking for release 5. That's release 5. Can it ship today? Yeah, should be able to because the production order's in history, which means we've produced all of the parts. So I can go ahead and pull this in. So I'm going to make a note. Always make a note if you make any changes. So I'm going to put the date and I'm going to say her email from customer requested to pull in, and always put the date you're pulling in from and the date you're pulling in to. That way we've got a record. So we're pulling it in from the current due date, which is the 26th, to today, 8/8. And put your signature on there and then go ahead and make your change here. So it's 1-day transit to them. So I'm going to go ahead and set the delivery date to the 11th. And then we have to update the shipping. So we come here, you hit edit to edit the shipping, change this date to the 8th, delete this line. We're going to just add that back in. That way it updates the date. We're going to hit OK, close, and then let me write this down. 584191. Okay, so now that's updated. So finished goods will get a notification on their dashboard that that has been pulled in. They'll pull it and ship it. Now that I've changed that date, I want to make sure I update my spreadsheet. So I don't know how proficient y'all are in Excel, but you can search your spreadsheet. I search for the job number and it takes me right to the line. I'm just going to update this 8/8. I copy it and then I'm going to pull it up here to today's date. I'm going to insert that. Then I'm going to make sure I delete this line. Okay, so now I've updated that on my spreadsheet so I won't lose it Won't forget about it. It's right there now. And then we're going to tell the customer we're good to go. Oh my goodness, I can't spell today. And we're good to go. Okay, so this email, G&H has a very large order. It has to ship on a pallet, and we want to make sure we ship it the way the customer wants it shipped. It's not normal for us to ship on a pallet, so we need to check with them. But our buyer is on vacation until Monday. So Rochelle is going to take responsibility. She's the sales manager for this account. I won't be here Monday and Tuesday, so she's going to take responsibility for checking with the buyer on Monday, and then she'll get back to our shipping person. So I let Ivy in shipping know. I copied Rochelle, and Ivy's just saying, sounds good, thanks, so that we're all on the same page. So I don't need to do anything with that. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark it red, and then I'm going to file it in G&H.
Sorry, just out of curiosity, why do they need it to be shipped on a pallet?
Because it's a really large order. It's several boxes.
Okay.
And so it would be too much to ship each box via FedEx ground or whatever. So like right here, I put the pallet information. The pallet is 49 inches by 49 inches by 35 inches. So it's quite large and it weighs
Okay.
450 pounds. So we want to make
Got it.
sure, I mean, if the customer wants it shipped FedEx, we certainly can.
But it would
But
be very expensive.
very expensive. It's cheaper
Yeah.
to ship it freight. So we want to make sure that we do whatever the customer wants. So we're going to double check with them because it's out of the norm. Okay, so here,
I had a
Esmeralda
small
said
question
more.
about that.
Yes.
Still in the realm of shipping.
hmm
Do you always ask the customer their preferred company for shipping?
Yeah, so normally when you're getting them set up, after Stacy enters them into the system, and we're doing like a quote or a first PO, you'll send them the credit application, um, and get that information, and then you'll also want to get that kind of information, like, do y'all have a shipping account that you want us to use? If so, who is it? What's your account number? And I can show you. Um, actually, let me go to main ENT. So Inventus Power is already up here. I'll go ahead and just, if you wanted to search a different customer like G&H, bring them up. You can come here to main ENT, and then this is all of their information. So there's a ship to tab. These are all the shipping addresses we have for them right now. This is the one we use most often. So if it was new, you could just add new, fill everything in. Or if you need to modify it, you can modify it. So they don't have a shipping account. If they had one, it would be here in this field. And then, if it was UPS, you could, select UPS and whatever. They don't have a shipping account, so we usually ship on our FedEx account and charge them. So if they have a shipping account, we enter that when we enter the shipping information, and then it just automatically charges their account. If they don't have a shipping account, we can ship on our account, and then we'll just add the freight charges to the invoice. And it'll be billed along with the part and the setup and whatever on the invoice. And that's another reason we want to check with them, is because we usually ship on our account and charge them. And since it's a freight shipment, we we want to make sure we ship it how they want. Let me find an account that actually has shipping information. So like this is my account for Duke. You can see there's a number there. That's their shipping account number, and it's UPS ground. And for them, it's a 3-day transit. So we put that information right there because that pulls in when you're adding shipping to individual jobs, and it calculates the due date for the job based on how many days it will be in transit. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So yeah, you can ask the customer if it's not already in there, if it's like a new customer is getting set up, you ask them, how do you want this shipped? Are we going to ship and bill you, or do you have an account you want us to use? And if they have an account, they'll give it to you, and then you add it in here with the shipping information, and then it's always there. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so this one, they had asked to expedite the order. We happen to have some in extra stock. We don't ever tell them that we have extra stock. Most of the customers, some of Sheila's bigger customers know that we do it, but for the most part, we don't tell customers we have extra stock. They call it stretching the narrative. So we would just tell them, like, oh yeah, we have enough material. We can get you a partial quickly, even though it's ready, it's sitting on the shelves. So they had asked to expedite the order. We had some in extra stock. If we have extra stock, production prefers that we offer the partial first before asking to expedite the production order, because it's less disruptive to the schedule. So I offered them the partial, they accepted. I had told production, I updated the due date to ship the partial. Once we ship it, we can change it back to the regular due date. And this morning, Constance asked if it was ready. And now they're responding saying it's with shipping. So that's my confirmation. It's going today. They did what they were supposed to do. Everything's good. So I'm just going to file that. I don't need to do anything else. We're good. Let's see here.
It must be tough coming back from the trip.
So this is the one I asked him to check the rev. He says, so work in progress. They have a new ERP system. It's now a numerical numbering system. We're working on updating all drawings to conform. Hopefully we'll have more information soon, but I think you're safe to work off the most recent drawing. Okay. So basically they're going to be updating all of their revs on all their stuff, but he's telling me we're okay to proceed with Rev B that was on the PO. So going back to this, we still have to get updated pricing because their pricing is not at all right. So my estimating screen disappeared. I don't know if Johnny mentioned it or if anybody else did, but when you open your windows, come here to plant and make sure you delete that. So it will always search both plants. If you leave it on MSI and you try to search an MSD part, nothing will come up. You might get confused and think we've never done the part, even though we have. It has happened to me. So
Where,
make sure you
where did you pick? Okay, plant.
plant.
This
and
is
then
on all jobs, correct?
Yes, all jobs. You can do it in estimate screen too. I'm going to change this
Okay.
to estimates here in a second, but I always start when I open the estimating screen. This is the first thing I do so I don't screw up. So plant, select plant, and then just hit delete. and you're good to go. And then it won't have MSI or MSD up here. That's how you know you're in both plants. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and search that part number. All right, so both of the parts are on the one quote. And actually, didn't I say we had a job that was newer? $621, $619. Yeah, so we're going to convert from the last job. Yes, no.
That's good.
All right. And I don't need that stuff. We have a PO. So we're going to put that there, that there. Always make sure you change it to pending. Otherwise, estimating won't get an alert. Make sure you select the correct buyer. And then delete anything that we no longer need. So we're not going to need the die charge again. We're not going to need the setup charge again. Gonna take those off. And then we're going to add 171 pieces. And that was line 1. So we'll do that. Okay. I'm going to grab my part number.
Bye.
Come over here.
That's the headache. Oh. Yes. Oh, always. All right. Okay.
Yeah, I think
All right.
it's,
I
yeah,
think
it's going to do dash 2.
update. So you'll get a second one with all of it.
Okay. And this is going to be a rerun. That's pending. And then I'm going to
If you want to go through the that one.
I'm gonna go ahead and put the PO number. Go ahead and add another line. Okay, and then we're just gonna repeat that with this part number. Already there.
So the first line, we've got a standard agreement that we have.
And then we're just gonna repeat the process with this other part number.
That one, because you only ordered 56. So
The quantity
134K,
136.
if you have to, it has to be in increments of 2,000, because it's 2,000 per roll. So
7,988-1. Rerun.
yeah, no, that yeah. We won't go that far unless we have permission from you. So, but yes, so I just wanted to let you know on the also. So the second one you're asking for basically almost 56,000. Well, because you only have 22 left after that the 34. So we're gonna shift 22K off of that one, the last of it. So you're gonna need to get me another standard agreement with the rest of those lines that you have listed there. Yes, so after that, so yeah, after that, you'll be done. And then,
Okay, and we got -3 for that one. So went too far. All right, now that, move that.
so, okay,
Now we
okay, so
want
I'll go ahead and
to
what I'll do
save
The
this
second- we already
email.
have them both as two different releases. I'll make the second one.
So we're just gonna do
same with it.
Microsoft print to PDF. And we're gonna print it. And you're gonna want to save it in the customer correspondence folder and just label it. This is TapRite 808-0423 808-0424.
If you want me to go, oh, thanks. They're 2 years old now, so that's when they were 2 years ago.
And since the rev on the PO is different than the rev in our system, we're going to make sure that we put this email on both quotes.
But the next week,
So that everybody can see. And we got to take off all the old stuff too. So we're going to take off all the old POs, old art proof, any old communication, and the purge request. So basically all we want is the drawing and any production files to be left on here. And then of course we're going to add PO. You don't necessarily have to add the PO right here, but I do, so it's already there. And then we want to add that email. And if you need to put a note, Bob in estimating taught me this, you can put a note in this comments field. And I'll show you what it looks like after. Confirms to move.
for the first
B-
labor,
LPO. Rev.
so yes, so I will go ahead. So
So now anytime anybody clicks here, they'll see that. And it's just sort of an explanation of why that is there. And I'm going to need that for the other quotes. I'm going to go ahead and copy that. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to delete all the old stuff. And then add the relevant stuff.
Yeah, I thought it was quite odd that, yeah, one of the under agreement was 56,000, but yet had all.
So now it's on both quotes. Now
But they did just.
we're going to send this off to estimating. And I'm going to make sure I attach the PO to this. And you can put more than one estimate number in these parentheses. Just put a comma between them. Okay. So since I have two quotes, I'm going to duplicate this. I have this one here, the quote status, just in case I need to send in a hot quote. I would put hot right there, but these are not hot. So I'm just going to take that out. So this is going to be a rerun, and this is for TapRite. And the first part number is That was 171, I think.
Valid. At the time, I think the revised PO yet for that. But I think we have, so let me double check that real quick. Yeah, we received the, so that one changed.
Okay. And then just double check everything
So that one.
and send that off to estimating. And now we wait, and we're gonna tell our customer.
So we'll ship it on September 7th. That's you should receive it by September 7th. And then that second one, the 447. The new ship date for that one is going to be August 20th. That one's going to be August 20th.
Okay.
Everything else,
We're just gonna tell them we got to get that quoted. We're working on it, and that we'll get back to them. And then I printed the PO earlier, so I'm gonna just make myself a note on here that 88. I sent quotes 212900-2 and 212900-3 to estimating. And then I have some folders on my desk. And one of them says POs with estimating. So I'm just going to slide that into that little folder and put that over there. All right. How are we doing so far?
All good. I just came up with a question. How often do you use the Teams portion of Outlook?
So it depends on what I'm doing. I use it pretty regularly to communicate with sales and
Oh no,
shipping.
sorry, I meant the Teams portion where you see the reports.
I use
Mm,
those when I need to. So let's go
that one, yeah.
here. I use it to check the sales and the reports. I also use it for the estimating dashboard. Um, so like if I was wanting to check up on my quotes to see where they stand, like this Delta one I mentioned earlier, it is actually they may have sent that one yesterday. So let me use CalScan because I'm pretty sure they didn't send that yet. So that I put in on Wednesday. It's been 2 days. Let's just say I want to check it and see what the status is.
Yeah.
I'll use it to come here and check the quotes. So let
Okay,
me
so
leave
what you
this
do
up.
is you correlate from your spreadsheet and just to check
Yeah.
the statuses of
Yeah.
estimates, for example.
So yes. So right here, like I can see the sign decay. She sent the RFQ to Romer 2 days ago. I know Romer takes several days to send stuff back, so I know she's working on it. I'm not gonna freak out right now and worry
Okay.
too much about it. Now, if I look at it and it's not assigned to anybody, nothing's been done, I would probably go ahead and shoot an email off to estimating and just be like, hey, I sent this in 2 days ago, nothing's been done. Are we going to look at it soon? and just to, let them know that I'm watching and, we need to get moving on it. But yeah, I use this a lot. Another one that I use is this CS Tools. Sometimes your customer might ask you, can you check your records and see, how often we order this part, or you want to know how often they order a part, or, what the history of a part is. You can use the CS Tools and you can adjust the dates. So let's just go January 2024 to present. And you can come in here and look up any one of your customers. Just select them. And then this is showing you every part and every order that this customer's ever had. If I want to filter it more, I can go in here and I can either pick it or I can type it in here. And then once you do that, this is the history of that part, this part number right here. So it looks like we started running it in January 2024, or actually, no, we selected 2024. So this is the history since 2024. If I wanted to know like the full history of it, I mean, I can go back to 2020. And let's see. Yeah.
Take a longer.
Not cooperating.
For us to make sure that we get it out in a lot of time to get it died.
There we go. Okay, so now we've got the history of this part from January 2022 to present. I mean, you could just use it to see, let's see. So let's just say 2024, they ordered all of these. So they ordered a lot of these parts, 600, 300, 1500. I use this to check that kind of stuff. Or if my customer asks for that information, this is easier than going to ENT and try to look everything up and then pull all that data, because you can export anything you want from here into an Excel spreadsheet, and it just makes it easier. You can delete the columns that are not relevant. Let's see if I can do that. So, current layout.
Yes, and this is why we're asking, because we started producing these for that's when they realized that.
And it just creates a spreadsheet for you. So if you needed to send this to a customer, you just delete anything that's not relevant. Like they don't need to know it's Duke because it's for them. They don't need to know the order type. They don't need to know the sell price. They wouldn't really need this information either. And you can just, delete what's not relevant. Like all of this we don't need. But then you could send them this. This tells them the job number, how many they ordered. And I mean, you could even delete this one if you wanted to, and then just save it and send that to them. If they ask for it, or if you wanted this for some reason, it just makes it easier than doing it all in ENT.
Got it. Thank you.
Um,
And of those columns, which ones would be like absolutely confidential to customers? Like, I mean, do not share. Which ones are?
Definitely the order type and the sell price.
Okay.
Well, probably maybe not the sell price, but they don't really need that information. The order type, definitely, because it says extra stock.
Mm.
And they would question what is extra stock, and then you got to try to lie your way out of that. And then, they wouldn't really need any of this information because that's just related to our internal stuff. They really don't need the print method or the finishing method. I would say take that out. It's not necessarily confidential, but it's something they don't really need. Um, Mostly what they need is the job number, the part number,
The
um,
quantity.
and the quantity. Yeah. Mm, You know, you could leave the history in there if you wanted to, but yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other questions about Teams right now? I think Sheila uses the purge dashboard to check and make sure we've, saved all the purge forms for rerun orders. I mean, rerun with changes. Um, I'll be honest, I don't really use this one a whole lot. Um,
So you personally use mostly the one for estimates and the one that
the,
of the history.
yeah, the CS tools and the dashboard and the current sales. Those are the ones I
Okay,
use the most.
okay,
Um,
thank you.
there is the finished goods dashboard. I don't really use that one. Um, I do use this one under scheduling the follow-up to put stuff on the follow-up Excel spreadsheet. Um, if I make a change to a production job, you put it on here so that production sees it and knows what you did. You can also send an email too. Really is a good idea to both send an email and put it here just so there's no mix up or confusion or anything. They can't say, well, you didn't do this, or you didn't do that. Yeah, I did. It was in two places. You got an email and it was on the Excel. Um, so if you missed it, it's on you. But
Okay, so follow-ups correlates to the job tickets
yeah,
that production has.
yes. So
Okay,
let's see. So you can see right here, this is everything. Um, they have this job for Sheila, it's an NI job, requested ship date of 8/15. So they'll be looking at that probably later today in the 1 o'clock meeting to see if they can do 8/15. And if so, they'll let Sheila know. Um, let me see. I was trying to find one that I put on here, but I think they've already taken it off. There was one the other day I put on just saying that we're shipping a partial. So I changed the date, change it back to the original date. Once we ship the partial, I put that on here. Once they take care of it, they usually take it off unless they need it on here for tracking purposes. Um,
so
but
that's
this,
another reason why it's better to have sent an email.
it's good to do both.
Okay. And
Um,
when you make a modification to this job tickets, you don't have to modify anything at the same time on ENT.
it depends. Like the one for JL Clark, where we were just sending a partial from extra stock, I went ahead and changed the date in ENT and added the shipping line and put the notes and already made all the changes. And then I sent an email to production. It was to Peyton, Constance, and Finished Goods. And I let them know what I did. And then I also put it on here just so that it was everywhere. And then they can't say we didn't know about it. Um, if you if it's a production job and you want to change the date and you're not sending extra stock, like you need the date changed on the whole job, you have to ask first, usually in the 8:30. And then if they say go ahead and make the change, then or a lot of times they'll tell you to put in a DR, a delivery request. You put the DR in and then they will add it to the follow-up and they'll make the notes. But if you make a change on a job, it's a good idea to put it on the follow-up and send an email.
Okay, thank you.
There is this stalled jobs report here in the same place under follow-ups. Um, I'll be honest, I don't really use it because I've got my spreadsheet and it's organized by date. So I just work off of that. But if you don't and you want to look at the stalled jobs means that it hasn't been touched in however many days. I think maybe it's 5 days. You can look here. They've got this kind of color coded, like these right here. I've already checked these. They're done. They're at inspection right here. They're at roll inspect. So they're done. They're just waiting until the due date.
So just,
They'll run them through the roll inspect machine and then they'll package them up and ship them. So I'm not worried about those. They're good. Like I said, I don't really use this report because I've got my spreadsheet, but it's here if you want to.
Yeah. Would you mind showing me how how these stalled jobs look on your spreadsheet?
It's just okay. So
I think that for me personally, a spreadsheet would also really work best.
yeah. So let's see, 592,018. I'll just. There we go. Okay. So you can see all these jobs. It's 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22, which
Right.
are all of these.
Mhm.
So I was checking these last week. And
Okay.
so I had done what I always do, search the job number, get to jobs. I went to jobs, searched it, went to accumulated production, and I saw it's released to final inspection.
Yeah.
That means they're done. So
Okay.
then I just went ahead and marked them green on my spreadsheet, and now we're just waiting to ship them.
Oh, okay.
So,
So that means that the green lets you know that from your end, everything is already taken care of.
yeah. See, I've got the
Okay.
color code legend up here. Green means ready. This
Yeah.
light yellow means that it's still in production. Blue means I'm going to take it to the 8:30. Bright yellow means I've been alerted it's possibly going to be late.
Mhm.
Orange is it's going to be late.
Okay.
And then pink is the watch. So pink is this header, the watch and expedite request.
Okay.
And I've got those two colors in here.
Okay.
That's how I do it. You can pick your own colors, or do however you want. All the back orders, I just make those dark gray.
Okay.
But yeah, that's so because I do my own spreadsheet and you can see a lot of these are already marked green because I was checking those early this week and those are all ready to go. So I went ahead and marked them green. And
Yeah, I love this because this tells you more in relation to you, to yourself, to your responsibilities,
yeah,
that you are clear.
yeah. Um, so yeah, that's just so I mean, I know this is here, but I don't really use that because I use my own spreadsheet.
Yeah,
Um,
otherwise this would all be red flags for you if you didn't have your own spreadsheet.
right. If I wasn't already looking at my spreadsheet and looking ahead, if I was to pull this up, I'd be like, oh geez, I got a lot of stalled jobs. And I'd have to, you know, and I
Yeah.
think you can click on these and it'll show you the accumulated production and kind of bring up all this data. But almost any time that I've thought to come and check this and then I compare it to my own spreadsheet, like I'm already aware of what's going on with all these because
Right.
I've been checking on my spreadsheet. So um that's just that's how I work.
Yeah, thank you for
um
sharing that. It's super useful, definitely. I think I will 100% be following the same method.
okay. And feel free to tweak it because my way might not 100% jive with you, but it gives you a starting point if you want to try that method.
Thank
Let
you.
me see, I've got a chat Okay, we're good.
It was me. I went to the bathroom. Sorry.
That's fine. I was just like, wait, I got a new chat. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and minimize Teams.
I got
Uh,
lost in that part. I don't want you to repeat everything because I know we are recording, but I just lost the part where it says job stall, and you mentioned that you have your own like Excel where you are writing everything up. But what
yeah.
exactly are you writing?
So I was just kind of going through all the different tabs that are here in Teams, and I just mentioned the stalled jobs tab that's here. Um, you can use it to, I think they come on here if they haven't been touched in like 5 days, 4 or 5 days, I think. Um, so you could come on here to check the status of them. But I was just saying that I don't really use this tab a whole lot because I use my spreadsheet. And so I'm always checking on jobs. Um, and when I see that they're ready, I mark them green. So like I was saying, that these power flows right here, they're on this stalled jobs list because they're ready and they're not due till the 12th. So the back, they're at roll inspect. So they're just waiting to do the final inspection and send them off to shipping. So they're on the stalled jobs list saying they haven't been touched in a while because they've been done for a while. And so they're on here, but I know from my own spreadsheet and checking that they're good to go. I've marked them green, so they're good to go. Um, so
And
I
you
was
know
just
that because you ask the production department or the
no,
persons in
because
charge of. Mm.
no, because I was explaining I go through here about a week out and I will check um no, I will search the job number and I will come here to accumulated production and final inspection or release to shipping or
Oh,
ships to extra stock, it means it's done. So once I see that, I mark it green. And then that just tells me when I come on here later on another day to check, I only need to check these yellow jobs. I've already checked these and they're ready to ship. We're just waiting for the due date. So I don't have to worry about those anymore. So like later today, I'll probably come in here and I will check all these yellow jobs that are due on Monday and Tuesday next week and just make sure that they're good. And if they are on Malcolm Green, and if they're not, I will bring them up on Monday morning um, to get an update
got
from
it.
production. But so I was just saying I don't really use this because I use my own thing. But if you did want to use this, it's here. It's under scheduling and then under follow-ups. And it's right next to the follow-up Excel tab.
Got it. We still don't have that, but I missed the part where you open it on the NT and it tells you that information. So
Yeah,
okay.
I was just saying I work off of the spreadsheet that I created and I just go through and so like middle of last week I was starting to check all of I mean middle of this week I was starting to check all of these orders for next week to see where they are, and as you can see I've got a lot of them marked green, so I know those are good to go. We're just waiting to ship those. So now all I have to do is keep track of the yellow ones and make sure that they get done. Um, So it's here if you want to use it. I think everybody else uses it pretty regularly, but I've come on here and like I would panic because I see, oh my gosh, my power flows haven't moved in however many days. Let's see, click on it. It's been 8 days inactive, but then you go and you check it and oh, it hasn't moved because it's done. Now we're just waiting to ship it. So um just however you want to do it. You can use this if you want. I
I get it.
I don't really feel the need to, but it's here. And occasionally I do just double check it, but not a whole lot.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Okay, I'm just going to come back to that.
Cause they didn't archive. So.
Okay, so here I got another one of these material research. There's nothing there. I'm just gonna delete that. And this is just Esmeralda saying thank you to my saying I updated her shipping. So I don't need to do anything with that except file it.
You want to after this Javier extension for the drawing? I don't know, that's who's on this PO.
Okay, so this is that precise connections that I changed. And so I just got the notification that I changed it. We already know I changed it. So I don't need to worry about it. I'm just gonna file that.
It's not like I asked for another buyer.
Okay, this is the same buyer at Precise Connections. She's asking us if we can update these orders to these new due dates. Almost all of their stuff is finished good contracts, so and releases. So this should be no problem. I think we're getting close to running out of time, so I don't want to jump into the middle of that right now. We'll go back to this one. So this customer had first asked us to quote production and FAIs, which we did. And then they sent a PO for just the FAI charges, and that's not what that pricing was for. That was meant to be alongside the production pricing because that was the price really just for the report. So I had to send this back to estimating to get prototype pricing because they want just 3 samples to look at and to see and test before they place a production order. So this is just Bob telling me that he updated the quotes. It's $100 for the prototypes and then another 100 for the FAI. And so now I would just need to send these off to the customer and let them know that we need them to update their PO, add the prototypes. They also didn't put the setup on there. I do remember that. So they'll need to add the setups as well. And it'll be the same for all 3 of these. So I'm just going to go ahead and find that chain. It's Harmon.
I'm just glad that during this whole meeting, I'm able to understand like, I don't know, like 80% compared to the first day.
It gets easier the more you see people do stuff and the more you do yourself, it gets easier. It is a little overwhelming at first, I will admit. First couple weeks I was like, God, there's no way I'm ever going to learn all this. But it gets easier, I
Yeah, I
promise.
see. I see it right now with your email with the FAIs and all that. I see, oh, okay, so he's asking for the FAIs. So there's an extra charge for that. It's not on the PO. The first day,
Yeah.
like, what is the PO?
Yeah, it definitely gets easier. I think I left that. Let's see.
They don't need all that info. They just need.
Try searching the PO number. There we go.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the chain. Just gonna hit reply and then go to Bob's email.
Yeah, so that way he doesn't feel like.
And I'm just gonna drag and drop
And he does feel like you don't love him.
all those quotes.
We want to keep it that way.
Steve.
Getting all those POs that you just.
Uh,
Oh, here it goes. Here's the finished look for this. computers are just really good. It's so good. It's okay.
Oh my goodness, I can't type. And sometimes if you aren't sure about your wording, or sometimes customers need what I call a little extra fluff, like niceness, and sometimes I struggle to nice up emails. Put it into Chat GPT and it'll kind of fluff it up for you. And if you're happy with how it looks, you just copy it and then paste it. And then you can just send it off.
Nice.
A lot of times I just tend to be very like blunt, matter of fact, here's facts, here you go. And sometimes I know customers need just a little bit more like, you know, whatever you want to call it. And so some, Chat GPT is kind of good at that, helping with that. So I utilize that from time to time. Actually, that was something Rochelle taught me. So
I got a question, Jennifer.
sure. Mhm.
This is more like a personal question. Like, in how much time or do you felt like really comfortable with what you're doing in the job?
Um,
Like with your
in a-
skills, like learning all the when you said like, okay, everything may click. Like
um,
Mhm.
let's see. I really started feeling, well, once you nail down your organization system and how you're going to keep track of stuff, um, that's a huge step. So, like my first few months, I tried Johnny's flag method with emails, and I tried, printing everything, and I realized this is not working for me. Um, so until I really nailed down my organization system that worked for me, I did feel very like scattered and kind of out of control. I would say probably around the 6 month mark, I really had control of my organization system. I felt good about it. I didn't feel crazed, and things were starting to really make sense and click for me. Um, there are still some things that come up, and I'm just like, I have absolutely no idea how to handle this. And I just, I ask one of my coworkers, or usually LJ or Sheila first, or if it's an estimating question or material, I'll ask Bob or Angus. I'm like, hey, this is maybe a stupid question, but I don't know, so help me understand. And everybody here is really, really great about that, about working together, being supportive. So, really, there are no stupid questions. And if you've asked it before, but you forgot how you handled it, ask again. They will not make you feel stupid. Um, but I would say for me, it was probably 5 or 6 months before I really felt like I was getting a handle on things.
Okay, got it. Yes, I think the organization method will be the most difficult part to implement. Like, but once we get it right,
Mhm.
as you mentioned, it will be faster.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll
Trial
definitely,
and error.
yeah, it is. It's trial and error. And if it doesn't work, just try something else. You'll find something eventually. Okay, I think we're about out of time. So unless anybody else has anything, um, everybody else feel good?
I'm good. I don't know, Daniel.
Yes, thank you. This has been super useful.
Okay. I think LJ said we're going to do this again next Friday. She hasn't
Okay.
scheduled it just yet, but that's what I was told. So if anything comes up before then, feel free to Teams message me or email me, or we can talk about it next week. I
Yeah.
will be out Monday and Tuesday. So um, if you message me during those days, I'll get back to you Wednesday.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, you guys have a great day.
You
Thank you,
too. Have a
Jennifer.
great weekend.
Thank you. You as well.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.